Hey guys, welcome back. Another week in the hangar. Get onto the Camel. We're going to cover the wings as some swallows come in. Hey guys, out you go. I'm not painting today. Wait, trying to film here. Anyway, been in touch with nature lately, it's pretty cool. We'll get the wing done and start on another wing, I guess. Enjoy the video. Slow and steady progress. Shrunk down at 350 3 times, both sides. I just put my little wash on there. I just like to do that to get it on the ribs. Mark the holes with pencil so that I can recover those easily once I put the tape on. I'm using this Superflight 1/2 inch tape, really good. And then pinprick all those with the soldering iron, 1/8 rivets all the way through. Then I'm going to mark out, which will be the 2-inch stripes, 3-inch trailing edge, 4-inch leading edge, and work out where I need. I've got a plan over there in my book. All the access hatches and drain holes. Drain hole in every bay. Some doilies around the hinges. What do I need? 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 of those. And yeah, we'll push on. Going well. All the holes with the soldering iron. It's always nerve-wracking doing that. Don't want to slip off and make a mess of the covering. Now I do 4,000 rivets. All right, all the rivets push through the holes. You can train a monkey sometimes. I think I'll run the ruler now because it's got something to go up against so I can draw my lines. So if I draw the lines now, I've drawn some of them, the ruler doesn't slip over the rivet heads. See, I'm learning as I go. Also, it's a bit spooky when you grab a handful of rivets and it's the exact amount to do the whole wing, to the nearest one. I'm not too superstitious, but yeah, that was a good guess, wasn't it? So here I'll draw some lines and pull these rivets down tight. Someone asked what rivet guns I use. These are from the Zenith days. I think this might be Milwaukee or something. Not sure. It's like a plastic thing, or plastic, you know, I don't know. But that's it. That's that one. I spoiled myself. So A4s and A5s. That was for the Zenith. And this one actually came from Zenith. There's no marks on it. I got this with the kit, I believe. Yeah, and the little cheap compressor from Super Cheap Auto. It's built 1.5 aeroplanes so far. Going well, push on. Okay, I used to get excited about pulling rivets, now it becomes a bit ho-hum. So I've gone through, note to self, we're on the bottom of the wing where the drain holes go, where the water's going to come out and the air. And on the inboard side of each bay. So this has got 5 degrees of downhill, 5 degrees of dihedral, so the water will run downhill. A lot of people have asked about the drain holes and that. That's what I was told to do, put one in every bay. It's also a bit of an air vent for each cavity, if you like. Even though the ribs are hollow, it's just one big cavity. But I've looked at other aircraft and they all have a drain hole. So they're all on. I've drawn my lines, made it a lot easier. Just hit the stems of the rivets. See, got that done. Marked all my tapes. This one's pretty easy. An inch and a half trailing edge that you can see through, and it's a 3-inch tape. I'm going to put a 4-inch tape over the whole shebang here, because that'll have a panel on it and have a bit of chafing going on, and allow enough to come an inch over the edge. Basically what you want for a glue joint, and this is not instructional, you want 1 inch of 1 inch of glue. Into my mud map that I did. Right and left hand bottom wing, yes. Bottom skin, yes. So, I need all the drains, I've done those. Turnbuckles, we discussed that, I'm not going to worry about it. I did them on the top wing and left them covered. So I'm just going to leave those off. If the time ever comes, same as the aileron hinge, if that was to come loose, I'll cut a hole in the covering and then fix it. That might sound a bit slack, but yeah, let's keep it simple. So I need these 4. I just need to work out where my struts are. And I've got the cable exit already, which comes out the bottom, which is already there, needs to be cut out. Also reminds me that I need to get the soldering iron onto the completed wings and do all the drain holes and a final sort of cleanup. But I need to check where exactly. Luckily I've still got this wing, well, luckily in one sense, where that bolt is, which is right there. Can measure that distance, and so I need a ring there and a ring there to get in and actually slide the bolt in. Now just between you and me, I'm about to throw this GoPro across the hanger. It keeps freezing up on me. So anyway, I need to get the bolt in through the skin and fit it, as well as line up the strut and get my other hand in and do the nut up. So I know I had a 2-inch thing, 2-inch insert in there. So anyway, I'll measure this, and that's where I'll put my rings. Just plodding along with the tapes, lay the tapes out, glue down the first 4 inches or so. Gives you something to sort of pull against. Lay those down. Got the rings on. 3 more tapes. Put the kettle on. This is where all the glue goes as well, a lot of glue. And a lot of wiping. Wipe it all off. But yeah, we'll get these, if I can get the bottom wing on top of the bottom wing today, it'd be great. So just cutting out some doilies for the inspection rings. The trick with these scissors is just let them, don't push. Get a pretty rough doily, but that'll do. Alright, 4-inch tape at the root, 2-inch tapes. That's where the lines come into it. You see, if you're clever, I can get the, I don't need little doilies on the drain hole. The tape will cover it. Lay these out. Do about 6 inches at a time on each one. By the time you get to the end, the other one's pretty much dry. I did my doilies because I wanted this tape on top for some reason. Thought it'd be easier. Got a bandage there for where the cable is going to exit for the aileron. So we'll lay these tapes down. Then we've got, well, I'll do the aileron, probably half the trailing edge, flip it over, do the top. Alright, back in today. We'll do the same on the top. I think I might swing the wing around because I don't like, well, most of the work's on the trailing edge, nothing on the front. So we'll spin it around. Just going to, once again, just go over quickly with an iron. Super hot iron on the leading edge. Just get everything down flat. Edges like this. If you go super hot on the iron, it'll stick to the glue a bit, so you've got to be a bit careful. Yeah. And I might even highlight these holes so I can find them again later with a black texture or something. Going well. Let's get into it. Today we need to put the tape on, soldering iron, rivet, and lay the tapes. Hopefully we'll get this side done today. If not, doesn't matter, does it? Alright, got the soldering iron on. I've laid the tapes on the wing. If you weren't aware, these tapes are just to stop the rivet heads pulling through the fabric, or in the original's case, if you did stitching, just gives it a surface. It's nice at this stage, it's all nice and clean. Good flat surface to work on. Everything's like that. I'm really happy with my wings. A lot of work, and the final result, I don't think they could be better for a first time fabric coverer like myself. I reckon that's pretty good. See a spot of glue there? I think I've showed this before. Just get the eraser and rub off the dag till it goes a lighter colour. Good for getting it off your fingers as well. Now I'm going to melt the holes. I know this is a bit repetitive, guys, but we've got one wing to go, so hang in there. Melt the holes with the soldering iron, rivet, lay some tapes, and then the leading and trailing edge tape will finish this wing off. Whether I do the ailerons next, or something tells me to do the wing so you're not short on fabric, even though I've got my order of fabric in. Well, let's just do something. Alright, all the holes done with the soldering iron. Very nervous doing that on your beautiful wing. I'm very conscious of standing on the lead, and drop the soldering iron. Imagine dropping a soldering iron on that. It'd be, touch wood, I've still got another wing to go and 2 ailerons. We won't talk about that. So, rivet it up, pop the rivets, draw the lines, and we'll lay some tapes. Righto, I might flick the kettle on while I wait for the rivets to dry. Just kidding. So I just check every one. No daggy heads on them. And I've got every hole. Got a bit of a Willy Wonka going on there, but that'll get covered up. Nice. Right, lay some tapes. So those astute viewers will realise I've forgotten to draw my lines. So I'm just marking out. This will have a 2-inch across there. My 4-inch leading edge tape will come up to here. Now I just rule some lines, and I've got to rule, now that the stems are gone, draw the 2-inch lines for the ribs, each rib, and a 4-inch tape will start there and roll around. Consideration with this wing is it's the bottom wing. It's going to be the one where you'd rest your stubby. What I mean by that, it's going to come up here and people are sort of you're going to look at this top surface and potentially some of the bottom surface. Not that there's anything wrong with the top wing, but this is like the main presentation side. As you walk up behind the aircraft for dawn patrol, you're probably going to look at these tapes. So we'll try and keep the standards high on this wing, on the top surface and the bottom. All right, whether you can see that, I've just got my little marks everywhere. The tape basically tells you where to go, but this is just a good starting point. Probably need a doily over this stuff because if you think about it, it might, I don't know, might get a bit of action with spanners and whatever. Yeah, got my marks. All tells me what I've got to do, well, lets me know, and also your innies and your overs and unders or whatever. Now I think we're ready to lay some tapes. Leading edge, or the tip, leading edge, trailing edge will be last. All right, the tape on, a little bit at a time. Sort of know I need to come down past my 4-inch leading edge tape. If I get them all the same level, it looks a little bit neater. The glue really soaks in on this virgin material here. Centre the tape on my mark. The glue. Particularly on the pinked edge. And then wipe it off. But hold the tape because it can turn real nasty on you. And then a lot of glue ends up on the towel. Let that dry. Towel in the bin, do the next one. So you can see there's a lot of gluing and wiping. And they sort of change colour as they dry. Righto, sort of leading edge part done. Now work from the other side and do about 6 inches to a foot. I just basically dip the brush in the glue, lay it on, and it's sort of the brush tells me when it runs out of glue, that's where I stop. Then lay the tape in and then dry the brush off in the tape, if that makes sense, and wipe it all off. It always looks terrible, but we know what the end result is, guys, so that's fine. And on the end here, I don't try and do it all at once. You see how it's sort of a bit because of the taper, or because this drops away. So I'll come back with the iron later. So about now I can start to glue the whole thing down 100%, and then I'll just give this a light shrink with the iron and lay some glue on it. It'll be nice. Then we have another 2-inch tape comes over the lot of everything, leading edge tape, wingtip tape, tape on this edge and a tape on that edge, and then trailing edge tape. Not much to go at all, really. Okay, I'm just moving on to the trailing edge tape. I just glued 1/4 of an inch and the right on the trailing edge, so I can flip this over and then I'll iron that down, suck it down tight. This is pre-glued. This will get ironed on like that. I've got pre-glue here for the wingtip, and I'm just hanging my leading edge. What I want to do with the leading edge, I want a straight tape. So all I'm concentrating on is getting the edge straight to start with. I'll flip it over and do the same on the bottom, just pull this around, another 1/4 inch of glue, and then just iron all this down like I've done previously to tighten up the leading edge tape. If you try and do it the other way, this will all end up all wonky and look terrible. So just getting what I want first. Also notice the way I put the glue on and I'm wiping sort of up like that. If you go like that, you're going to end up with trouble. It's going to balls up, literally. So I'm just wiping that feathered edge down. It also soaks in really good into the fabric over the metal. So this time around, I'm just getting everything on, get it done. Rather than, I used to muck around with the iron a fair bit. Get everything on and glued, probably knock off. And then have a session with the iron and go over everything with the iron. I did pull the iron out where there's an intersection, so I ironed this tape and then ran the other tape through. I can feel this hasn't had an iron, and that has. You can feel the difference. Also, I can hear little edges coming up. So that'll get a thorough, once this is all the gluing is done with the tapes, which I've only got to flip it over now and finish the leading edge tape, wingtip tape, and that aileron bay. Flip it over. I should be sort of finished today with the tapes. Let it dry, and then give it everything a good iron, and then we'll put the wash on, make the whole wing green. All right, I'm just going to do the curve. So I've got my 3-inch tape, put a crease in it. The trick is to put the crease the opposite way to what you think. I'm going to iron that on centre. I don't use the bias tape, I actually prefer just straight tape, and even around the curve I can sort of iron it down nicely. I'll get that on, then we're going to flip the wing over and we're almost complete. So I've got the top half of the what's the presentation side, or the wingtip if you like, and the bottom I'll flip it over and do that. My leading edge I just tape it here, under and over, which is nice. You see I've just glued the 1/4 inch all the way along. So I'll flip it over and glue the other side down. And it's almost ready to walk away and let it dry for a bit, even though you'd call that dry, I guess. I think that's all I got left to put on. Wingtip, got a tape there, tape there, tape there, tape, leading edge tape, spar tape if you like. Now these bits here, I armed and ahed whether to do a big doily. It's glued on, it's adhered really well. Got a glue around the edge, this gets cut out, and so does that with the turnbuckle. I'm going to leave it at single layer, I think. Just make sure it's glued. And when I cut it, I can probably tuck it a little bit. Or the soldering iron sort of welds it to the edge as well. Last thing you want is the covering to sort of start coming up there, I'd imagine. Same on the leading edge, just here. I've got good adhesion all around the edge. I could put a big patch on there. I may need one there and one there, I'm not too sure. I don't think I will. That's what the reinforcing tape is for. So just working it out in my head, guys. I'll just cut those out later after paint, like I said, because I don't want the paint dribbling inside everywhere. And keep it simple. Keep it simple and within my realms of, I don't want it to look too much like patchwork. If I paint this, you won't see anything. If I put a big doily there, if I was going to do that, I probably should have put it under these 2 tapes in the corner. I did think about it, but we'll leave it off. Live and learn. It's not an everyday aeroplane, so we'll see how we go. All right, guys. That's a couple of days' work there. Get that wing sorted out. Got all the glue off my fingers. Everything's glued on where it should be. I just whacked on then on the leading edge. I used the leftover glue that I had, thinned it down, put it on with a brush this time on the leading edge. Didn't work too bad. Next session, I will probably put a wash on, then iron everything down, or vice versa, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching. Tune in the next video and we'll probably do the same again. Cheers.